I've been having a little chat with Mrs. Forge and Mrs. Jones, and they've been telling me just how fantastic you guys are and how hard you've been working at home over the last few weeks. I'm really excited that I'm going to be able to teach some of your English lessons over the next few weeks. I'm sure we're going to have tons of fun together. I hope you've had a lovely half-term break and enjoyed the gorgeous sunshine. I have had a great time playing out in my back garden in all this sunshine. But let's get started. Today, we're going to be reading a text about an animal that loves to live in the warm sunshine. And you're going to need your purple books to get started with. If you haven't got any space in your purple book, then you could use a sheet of paper or a notebook, and you'll also need something to write with. So let's get busy. Your first job this morning is to write the date at the top of your page. And the date today is Monday, the 1st of June. It's the first day of a new month. So I'll pop it up on the screen for you to see. There we go. Monday, the 1st of June. And you can pause this video while you get busy and write the date at the top of your page. 1, 2, 3, pause. Have you done it? I hope you used your neatest handwriting. Well done, everyone. Okay, today we're going to be learning to answer questions about a text. So let's read the text together. Here's a picture of a wombat. It's quite a cute creature, isn't it? Quite small and fluffy with beady little eyes. Let's see what we can find out about the wombat. Read with me. What is a wombat? Wombats are short-legged, muscular marsupials. A marsupial is an animal that gives birth to live young, which they then carry and feed in a pouch. Wombats can grow to about 1 metre long and can weigh as much as 30 kilograms, which is the same as 200 bananas. Wow! There were a few words in that text that were quite difficult, weren't there? Were there any words that you found a little bit tricky or didn't understand? Which ones were they? Let's go through the first sentence. It says wombats are short-legged. That just means they've got short legs. They're muscular, which means they're very muscly, and they are marsupials. Did you work out what a marsupial is? It tells us in the text. A marsupial is an animal that gives birth to live young, which they then carry and feed in a pouch. That means that when baby marsupials are born, they're born live, not in eggs. So wombats don't lay eggs. That's really interesting, isn't it? Let's find out what's on the next page. Where do wombats live? Wombats live in Australia and some of the small islands surrounding Australia. Fantastic! I've seen wombats at the Doncaster Wildlife Park. Now I know that they don't come from Doncaster, they come from Australia, where it's lovely and warm. Do you know anything about Australia? Let's read the next page. What do wombats eat? Wombats are mainly nocturnal and emerge at night to feed on grasses, herbs, bark and roots. The incisor teeth of a wombat are continually growing, so to keep them in check, wombats gnaw on bark and tough vegetation. What did you learn on that page? I learnt that wombats are nocturnal. Do you know what that means? It means they come out at night and they sleep through the day. And the incisor teeth of a wombat, your incisors are the teeth at the front of your mouth that you use for biting. They just keep growing and growing and growing on a wombat. How do they stop them from growing and growing and growing? How do they wear them down? It's right there in the text. It says they gnaw on bark and tough vegetation to keep cutting them back. It would look very funny if a wombat's teeth grew and grew and grew, wouldn't it? Let's see what it says on the next page. Why do wombats burrow? Wombats have wide barrel-shaped bodies and strong feet with long claws, which mean they are made for digging. Wombats excavate extensive systems of tunnels and chambers. Wombats sleep, rest, and raise their family in the burrow. Wow, there were some big words in there. I'm going to go back to this sentence just to check that I know what it meant. Wombats excavate extensive systems of tunnels and chambers. Excavate. What do you think that word means? If they're making systems of tunnels and chambers, what do you think they're doing when they're excavating? They're digging. Excavate is another word for dig. They dig tunnels and chambers. That's really interesting, isn't it? Here are some extra special facts about a wombat. A wombat's pouch is unusual among marsupials because it faces backwards towards the rump, the area around its bottom. This is so the wombat won't spray mud into the pouch when it's digging. That's very sensible. Fact number 2 says that wombat poo is shaped like a cube. This is because wombats mark their territory using the scent from their poo, and having cube-shaped poo stops it from rolling away. That is clever. Wombats have a tough rump. When they feel threatened, a wombat will dive into a tunnel, blocking the entrance with its rump. The sturdy rump prevents predators from being able to remove and attack the wombat. That's very clever. There are lots of different kinds of text. What kind of text was the text that we just read about wombats? I'm going to read out the definitions of all these different kinds of texts. See if you can figure out which ones fit our wombat text. Was it a factual text? A factual text gives information and details about real people, things, and places. A factual text is not a story. Or was it a story? A tale about made-up characters and places. Was it an information text? A text that gives you facts and details about a particular subject. Was it poetry? Poems have verses and often have rhymes in them. They sound a bit like songs. Or was it a diary? A text written by someone recounting what they did on a particular day. Was it a fiction text? A made-up story? Fiction is the opposite of nonfiction. Was the wombat text a made-up story? Was it a letter? Letters and emails are messages written by one person to another. They often start with "Dear" and have an address and a date at the top of the page. Or was it a set of instructions? Instructions tell you what to do. They are bossy language and they list the things you need to do to achieve something. Was it a non-fiction text? Non-fiction texts are the opposite of fiction texts. They give factual information about real things. Were there facts in the wombat text? Or was it a biography? A biography is an account of a real person's life. What do you think? There are 3 boxes that we could use to describe our wombat text. Which ones do you think there were? Factual, story, information, poetry, diary, fiction, letter, instructions, nonfiction, or biography? Our wombat text is a factual text. Of course, it gives us information and details about the wombats. It definitely wasn't a story, was it? It didn't have characters or a plot. It gave us information about the wombats. And it was a non-fiction text because it gave us facts and it didn't tell us a story. It talked about real things. Wombats are real creatures. Well done, everyone. Now we're going to answer some questions about the text that we have read. Mrs. Jones and Mrs. Forge say that you are really good at this. Here are some wombat questions for you to answer. These are available on a separate sheet if you would like to print them off, along with the PowerPoint that has the story on it. Question number 1 says, wombats can grow to be 1 metre in length. How many kilograms can they weigh? How are we going to answer that question? How many kilograms can they weigh? I'm not sure about that one, so I'm going to have to go back in the text and see if I can find the answer. The keyword I'm going to look for is kilograms. I'm going to see if I can find the word kilograms in the text to see how much they weigh. Question number 2 says, what do wombats do to stop their incisor teeth growing too long? What keywords could I look for in the text to help me find the answer to that question? I think I could look for incisor teeth. If I can find the words incisor teeth in the PowerPoint, in the text, then I might find out what stops them from growing too long. Question number 3 says, the text says that wombats excavate extensive systems of tunnels and chambers in the ground. Copy out the word in the sentence which means the same thing as dig. We talked about this one, didn't we? I know which word means the same as dig. Do you? Make sure you write it down as an answer for question number 3. The next question is a true or false question, and it says that you can circle either true or false. But you could just write down true or false in your purple book next to the number 4. So true or false? Marsupials have pouches that their young grow and feed in. Is that true or false? I think I can remember the answer to that question. But it's a good idea to go back and check in the text to make sure that I'm right. Question number 5 is another true or false question. It says, wombats eat frogs, mice, and big insects. Circle either true or false. I'm not sure about that one. I think I might go back to the section that says, what do wombats eat, to find out what they eat. Question number 6 says, in your own words, say why the opening of a wombat's pouch faces away from its front paws. Now this is a tricky one. The first part of the question says, in your own words. When a question says in your own words, it means it's important not to copy what it says in the text, but to use your own words to describe it. Just like if you were explaining something to your friend that was sitting next to you. You wouldn't just read the text, you'd explain it to them using your own words. Question number 7 says, why is a wombat's poo cube-shaped? I liked this fact, so it stuck in my head, but I'm just going to go back to the text and make sure I know what the answer really is. Question number 8. For what reason do wombats sometimes dive into their burrows and block the entrance with their sturdy rumps? And question number 9 says, write a caption to go with this picture. Do you know what a caption is? I bet you probably do. A caption is a short sentence that explains what's happening in the picture. What can you see in this picture? I can see that the wombat is in the background and he's holding up his foot. What interesting thing could you write about the wombat's foot? I learned lots of things about what the wombat uses its foot for in the text. Can you remember any of them? I know that it's got claws. I can't wait to read your captions. So here are a few pointers to help you answer questions about this text. Number 1, read each question carefully. You need to make sure that you know what the question is asking you. Number 2, answer each question. Even if you're not quite certain about a question, it's important that you still have a go. Number 3, go back and check with the text of wombats if you need to. I think this is the most important tip. I can remember lots of things about wombats in my head, but to check that I'm right, I must always go back in the text, make sure I've read it, make sure that I find the answer. You can use your skim reading skills where you read very quickly and look for keywords. And tip number 4 is reread your answers to be sure that you have said what you wanted to. Sometimes when I'm writing answers or when I'm explaining things, all my words come out of my mouth in a jumbled up order and they don't make any sense. So it's important that you go back, read your answer and make sure that it explains what you want to explain that's inside your head. I can't wait to see your work. And if you get some extra time today, there are some fun time extras that you could have a go at. You can have a go at drawing or painting your own picture of a wombat. Oh, that sounds like fun. Or you could write a sentence explaining what you find interesting about wombats. I found out so many facts about wombats today that I would never have known before. So I could definitely have a go at that one. I can't wait to see what you get up to, boys and girls. So go and get busy, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye!